Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, a little bit of a different video today. I just got this idea a few minutes ago. I was thinking about talking about Sarah Palin said some stupid stuff. Dr. Oz said some stupid stuff. There was a big incident just about 8 hours ago in Memphis, Tennessee. Uh, you guys can look that up on the news if you haven't heard about that already. I was thinking about talking about that stuff, and to be honest with you guys, some of those political videos haven't been getting a whole lot of views lately, and that's okay. Things change. When that happens, I decide to just, you know what, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, what I feel like talking about, and let the chips fall where they may. Today's video, yeah, when I made a video, yes, I think it was yesterday. I talk about this a lot. I'm honest. I always say I'm honest with you guys. You know, I don't lie. I come on here. I don't lie. I don't lie. I'm completely honest with you guys. You know, and there was a little nagging feeling. I had a little nagging feeling like that wasn't 100% true. So I started really thinking about that. You know, what if have I been dishonest? It wasn't obvious to me, but there was, every time I said, I'm completely honest, there was something bothering me. So I gave it some thought, and I haven't been completely honest. And I call this my confessional on here. I have not told another living soul this. You guys are the first to hear this. There's only one other person that knows this, the girl that I was dating at the time. I've had two relationships. One was about a year, about 7 years into my recovery for a year, 2014, and then Audrey from 2016 till the time she passed away. Two serious relationships. It was during the first relationship, about 7 years into my recovery, and she's the only living person that knows about this. I'm gonna be more honest with you guys. It's really not a big deal. Some of you guys might not think it's a big deal. This video is more about if you drink. If somebody you know drinks, if somebody you know might have a problem with drugs or drinking, this is more for you. That's more really what this is about. It's not about my dishonesty, because it's in this whole scheme of dishonesty, it's not that high up on the scale. What am I talking about? Okay, I come on here and I tell you guys, I've been clean and sober. I have not had one drop of alcohol, not one pill, not one joint, not one puff, not one pill, nothing, absolutely nothing. In 15 years, since October 23rd, 2006, right? You guys have heard me say that. It's not completely true. This was about, I had just started dating this girl. Let's call her Mary. I don't want to use her real name. I've used some shots of her on here before. I had been dating her for 2 or 3 months, and she had a drinking problem. I see that now. This was my first relationship. This was my first sober relationship ever, and she drank every day. She was a hard-working girl. She worked at UConn. She had a fantastic job, made about over $80,000, almost $100,000 a year total. She had a couple jobs. She was a very hard worker, but she drank every day. She drank every single day, and I noticed this quickly. It kind of, I hate to say this, but it kind of benefited me. You know, she would be in a better mood. She'd be a little more amorous, and I overlooked it. It got to the point where I started going into the package store. I had been totally clean and sober for 7 years, and I felt that it was safe to go into a package store. So we'd been dating for 3 months, and there was a local fireman's carnival that night. So she got off work, and I picked her up. She liked me to pick her up a bottle of wine, a big bottle of wine every night. She drank every night. And I think she drank a lot more than I even realized back then. Now I see it from the bottles I found and the excuses she made. But anyway, that's not what this is about. So anyway, this one particular day, about 2 or 3 months, this was around 2013, 2014, about 7 years into my recovery, I started thinking about, well, maybe I should try having a drink. And so I picked something when I was in the package store getting her wine that night. And I used to like champagne. You know, so I think it would, it wouldn't have that hard of an effect on me. Maybe to loosen me up a little bit. I could handle it. Because when I went to the meetings, I'd say, "Hi, I'm Daryl. I'm an alcoholic and an addict," and alcohol would always lead to the drugs for me. It wasn't my drug of choice. It was what would loosen me up. I'd go into to the South Bronx to buy heroin, to Father Panic Village in Bridgeport. Look that up on Google, Father Panic Village in Bridgeport, to buy crack. And it stopped my withdrawals a little bit in the morning, back when I used to use, but it wasn't my drug of choice, so I thought I could handle it. So I bought one bottle of champagne. In 2014, I bought her bottle of wine. She got off work, and I poured myself a glass of champagne, and I ended up having, from what I remember, the bottle probably wasn't even halfway finished. Maybe I probably had 2 medium to large glasses, I'd say. And something weird happened, and I didn't expect this. I did not like how I feel. I did not feel drunk. I didn't feel a buzz like I used to. I felt uncomfortable. I felt like I was losing control. Like we were going to go down to this fair after we had a few drinks. Right? It sounds funny for me to even say that, have a few drinks. That was the plan. And I started to get nervous about going down to the carnival. After having two glasses of champagne. I've never told anybody this. Never. My family, nobody. This is 7 years into my recovery now. And I had two full glasses of champagne, and I didn't know how to act. I felt like I was losing control of myself. I'll talk more about that in a minute. And I didn't like it at all. I started to get the usual glow and everything, and I felt the alcohol working, but it wasn't working like it used to. I felt nervous. I felt uncomfortable. I felt like I had less control over my body and my mind. And it bothered me. It scared me. And I stopped right there. That's the big confession. I did have 2 glasses of champagne back in 2014. Because I sit here and I tell you guys, I haven't had 1 drop of liquor or alcohol and nothing, not a sip of beer, nothing. I've told you guys that before, and it's a lie. It is a lie. And this is the first time I'm saying it on a social media platform to whoever's watching. Like I said, this is more about the weird reaction I got. And this is another time, there's a couple times in my life when I felt like this isn't normal. This has to be a sign. A lot of you might not believe in God. Call it whatever you want. To me, it was a sign from a higher power that this isn't meant to be. I talk about the last time I ever used on October 23rd, 2006, and how it was the worst day of my life. I mean, one thing after another, after another, after another, after another, after another just kept happening. I locked my keys in the car. The cops pulled me over 3 times, searched my entire car. I lost my drugs. I had to buy more drugs. I ended up sitting in a parking lot all alone for 2 hours, waiting to give change, my last $20 in change. I had $400. The last $200 in change. I waited 2 hours in a cold, dark parking lot, watching families go in and out of the stores, waiting for somebody I didn't even know. I didn't even know this dealer, never met him before. And I asked myself, if this isn't a sign from, call it whatever you want. It was the worst day of my life, and I had to ask myself, why? Why am I doing this to myself? All right, so back to the alcohol. The weird thing that went through my mind, I thought about when I was 13 or 14. I had my first drink. I thought about a lot of 13 and 14-year-olds, how they drink, and they enjoy it. They go out, and I was almost mad. I was like, I can't even. How is it that a kid could enjoy a beer and get drunk, but I can't? I can't do that. And part of me almost was angry almost. Because it was not a drunk feeling I got. It was a very uncomfortable. It felt like I was sick, like I was losing control, like I was having a stroke almost or something. I don't know how to describe it. It's a feeling I don't ever want to get back again. I mean, call this a sign from a higher power. I swear to God, this is true. And I have not, you have my word on this, I have not had a single drop of liquor since this day in 2014. A lot of times people drink. When I drink and I use, especially when I'm drinking, when you give up drugs, you really have to give up drinking. And I was like, how can I give up drinking? Everybody drinks. Everybody on Christmas, on New Year. How can I go the rest of my life without a drink? And that's the wrong way to look at it, too. You got to take it day by day. But I just want to let those people know that now, every morning when I get up, if I'm feeling kind of down, if I'm feeling just not like myself, the thing that I always remember is I don't have to lie today. There's nothing I do, nothing I say, nowhere I go that I have to be ashamed of. I could tell everybody the truth, and it's such a good feeling. But even better than that, every morning, I felt this yesterday morning. It was a rainy day. I wasn't feeling quite myself, and I just had this thought in my head. The day is, every morning is full of possibilities now. You know, I could do, you know, I'm not gonna, but I could create a masterpiece. I could read a book. I could get on a plane in 2 hours from now, and I could fly to Los Angeles. You know, I don't have a lot of money, but I got enough money to get to Los Angeles. You know, do I want to go to Los Angeles? No, but I could. I could. There's no reason why I couldn't do that. The day is full of possibilities. There's so much I could do today. And that is such a good feeling. Back when I was using, I was a slave and I didn't even realize it. You know, my day was set for me. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. I had to get up. I had to go lie and get money, and then I had to go find drugs. That's what was going to happen. Otherwise, I was going to get sick, possibly have convulsions, die. You know, it was life or death. And I knew what I had to do every single day, and it sucked. It was a living hell. Some people, I think some people don't realize how good life is, you know, until you're in that slave-like situation, and then you're freed from it. And you realize, you know, what you had, how good every day is. I know a lot of you work, you have families or whatever, but you still, when you wake up in the morning, you still have possibilities. The day is full of possibilities. You could pull the kids out of school and say, you know what? You're not going to school today. We're all going to a fair. You can go to a fair and stuff yourselves with things you've never eaten in your life before and have all these new experiences. Take a flight on a helicopter. I saw helicopter rides at a fair. The day is, you know, and you're probably not going to do that, but you could. You could. And a lot of people forget that. And having lost that for so many, 2 decades of my life, being a slave to drugs, knowing and having to do what I had to do every day, I wanted to die in my sleep. You know, there was no possibilities. There was just misery. And I knew there'd be misery today, tomorrow, and next week. Just misery. And that's when you realize how good every day is. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good Thursday.